guys, it's Miss Bulla. I'm just going to make a quick video going over the lymphatic system notes in your second packet. All right, so to start, what in the world is a lymphatic system? It is a system that works along with your cardiovascular system to remove different waste. The lymphatic system performs several different functions. The most known or most important functions would be that it transports excess fluid from tissues back into the cardiovascular system. It filters out harmful bacteria and other foreign substances. So it tries to get rid of all of that bacteria that may cause illnesses or may make you feel sick, may cause a common cold, whatever it may be. It also destroys and removes old red blood cells. All right, so lymph. What in the world is lymph? Its purpose is to fight infection. It's also known as interstitial fluid or intercellular fluid. So with that, it's telling us that it's inside your cells. It contains white blood cells, which we know fight infection. It does not contain red blood cells or platelets. The fluid nature of it is very similar to plasma, but it's not the same as plasma. Lymph forms from fluid that diffuses or spreads into body tissue. So it's constantly moving around the body in order to try and fight infection with the white blood cells that it contains. All right, lymphatic vessels. They form a branch-like pattern through the body. So if you look at this image, it really is showing you, like, it looks like everything is just branching out, kind of like veins almost look. It's kind of similar to that. So we have the lacteals, which pick up digested lipids or fats from the small intestine. We have all of the lymphatic vessels, they empty into one to two ducts. So we have the right lymphatic duct. It receives the lymph from the right side of the chest, head, neck, and arm. This is very important to know where it receives the lymph from. The thoracic duct is a much larger tube that drains the lymph from the rest of the body. So the thoracic duct is where most of the lymph is going. The two ducts carry the lymph into veins in the neck and then into the heart. So this will make a little bit more sense as we move on. But make sure that you're paying close attention to what parts of the body receive lymph and where it's going. So we know it's going towards the heart, and then you need to make sure that you're paying attention to the right lymphatic duct and the thoracic duct. So the movement of lymph. Contractions of muscles. So the muscular system keeps lymph flowing just like we know it does with blood. Lymph moves towards the heart. And the valves of the heart, they prevent backward flow. So we don't want old lymph or the old red blood cells or anything going back into the body, because then we're just transferring this bacteria and other things that are waste products back into the bloodstream, which can cause pretty detrimental effects. Lymph nodes. All right, so your lymph nodes, you have many. The ones that often they feel at the doctor are around your neck. So if you look where your earlobe is, go directly under and feel for your lymph nodes. If you're ill, oftentimes they will be a little bit larger. They'll be swollen. They may be a little bit sore. So doctors can also often tell if there's an infection by seeing how inflamed your lymph nodes may be. All right, so they filter out impurities, harmful matter. They produce lymphocytes, which are special white blood cells, and antibodies, which are substances used to fight infection. There is a lot of talk about antibodies right now, especially in relation to COVID-19. Scientists are trying to determine, are antibodies effective in fighting off maybe getting COVID-19 for the second time? So they're trying to see, okay, are people that have already had COVID-19, are they able to not get the infection anymore because the antibodies built up can just fight it off? So we're kind of trying to determine that. Vaccines have antibodies in them. So the way that vaccines work is they give your body some antibodies so that you can fight off the disease, infection, whatever it may be. So that's kind of a real life example of how antibodies are used in the medical field right now today. All right, other lymphatic tissue. So our tonsils exist in 3 pairs. So we have our pharyngeal tonsils, which are your adenoids, is kind of the more used term. They're located on like the upper part of your mouth. They are right behind the nose. So a lot of times when people snore, it may be because their adenoids are inflamed or they're too large, so it's blocking their breathing. The palatine tonsils are on each side of the soft palate. So that's where normally if you have strep throat, you go to the doctor, they can see all the pus built up on each side of your palatine tonsils. Your lingual tonsil is just located on the back of the tongue. So all of these are part of the lymphatic system and they help fight infection. Your spleen is located beneath the left side of the diaphragm and it's behind the upper part of the stomach. So what your spleen does is it stores large amounts of red blood cells and it also destroys and removes old red blood cells. So the spleen is really the huge indicator of where and how these red blood cells are getting destroyed in the lymphatic system. All right, another big lymphatic tissue would be the thymus. This is in the center of your upper chest. The thymus is incredibly important to newborn babies and children because its purpose is to produce progenitor cells, which mature into T cells. So basically what the body uses T cells to do is destroy infected or cancerous cells. So T cells are going around and they're trying to destroy all of the cells that may be detrimental to your body. T cells created by the thymus also help other organs in the immune system to grow properly. So it's making sure that everything is working how it should so that you can be a healthy individual. The thymus is pretty large in infants and grows until puberty. In adulthood, it begins to slowly shrink and becomes replaced by fat because by that point, most of your T cells have been created. They've been destroying these infected and cancerous cells. All right, so quickly, we're going to talk about some of the diseases and disorders of the lymphatic system. Allergies. That's probably something that everybody is experiencing right now. Basically, it just occurs when the body becomes hypersensitive to an outside substance that's basically harmless. It's just that your body doesn't really know how to deal with it. So this could be from different pollen or plants in the air. Sometimes you may have an allergy to a food or to an animal, whatever it may be. So basically, as a result, antibodies form in the blood to fight that substance. The substance that causes allergies are called allergens. Common allergens include pollen, plant oils, dander, bee stings, and different types of medications. So it's very important to know if you are allergic to anything because if you end up becoming exposed to it, it could be pretty detrimental. Symptoms of an allergy can include difficulty breathing, runny nose, itchy eyes, hives, rashes, and in very severe cases, an allergic reaction may cause anaphylaxis, which can be life-threatening. So it's pretty important that you know the things that you are allergic to, because if not, you can go into anaphylactic shock, which is when your body completely is starting to shut down. Normally you need an EpiPen or something like that in order to reverse this type of shock. In autoimmune disease, there are all different types of autoimmune diseases. Depending on the cells that are targeted, these can affect the body very differently. So in many cases, the cause isn't known. It can be linked to previous viruses that you've had that have attacked a certain part of your body. It could be heredity and just your genes. The treatment involves medication to suppress the immune response and steroids to relieve inflammation. If you have an autoimmune disease, normally what is happening is that your immune system turns against itself. It is mistaking your normal cells for harmful cells, and so it's just attacking everything, and it makes it very, very hard for you to survive. So that's why the treatment is pretty imperative, depending on what your autoimmune disease may be. All right, so the last disease or disorder that we're going to talk about is Hodgkin's disease. It is a chronic disorder of the lymph nodes themselves. It is the most common tumor found in lymph tissues, and a lot of the symptoms include painless swelling of the lymph nodes, fever, weight loss, fatigue, and itching. Treatment includes radiation and chemotherapy, so it can be pretty harmful, or like the treatment can be a lot to deal with. However, it is super important because basically what Hodgkin's disease does is it is cancer that's progressing, and it limits your body to fight infection. So without getting chemotherapy and radiation, it's very hard for your body to fight off other illnesses or even a common cold. So if someone with Hodgkin's disease is very, very high risk right now if they were to get COVID-19, because it would be very difficult for them to fight off that virus. All right, so last thing, extra credit. If you turn in a brief report with packet number 2 discussing the following, I will give you extra credit on your entire packet. So add 10 points to your packet's grade as a whole. So the first question, how the lymphatic system is imperative to fighting illnesses such as COVID-19, and how white blood cells and antibodies fight infection. Answer those 2 questions to the very best of your ability. You may want to do a little bit of research. If you have any questions, please let me know. Email me, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. I can't wait to see you guys all again soon, and I hope you're doing very well.